Hello, good evening from Leicester. We're back at the Mattioli Arena, day one of qualifying for Snooker's Shenzhen Open. And tonight we're bringing you the first round match between Dylan Emery from Wales and China's Bai Yulu. Play started this morning. It's been quite a dramatic day already. The winner will play Jackson Page in the second qualifying round. There's 3 in total, although some players, of course, if they get through the second, they have their match held over because they play a top 16 player. Bai Yulu, twice women's world champion, to get us underway. You're very welcome wherever you're watching around the world. Not the greatest break-off shot. She's a bit fortunate there. That red on the right-hand side is run safe. Dylan Emery comes into this tournament off the back of his best performance in a ranking event. He got to the last day of the Championship League just last week here in Leicester, last Wednesday, which is effectively the last 8. So he already has got plenty of ranking points on board this season. He's qualified as well for the Wuhan Open coming up. And he has potted that red to get in, so he'll be confident, I'm sure. I'm aware there are other sporting events on today, particularly this evening, but thank you for choosing us here. And in this age of multi-screening, you can keep across pretty much everything. So welcome to all snooker fans. Already a strange frame. We've got the green on the blue spot because the green spot is held by the cue ball. I think Dylan Emery is a terrific player, 25 years of age. He did drop off tour, but got back on after a year. 70th in the world rankings, but because he's had that good start to the campaign, he's actually quite high up on the one-year list. We've only had one tournament, but it's really important, I think, to make a good start to the campaign. If you're a lower-ranked player, just try and qualify for as many events as possible. And then when you do, obviously you're targeting a running one. That's how you climb up the rankings. And avoid the revolving door of Q School every couple of years. They've never played each other before. That's nicely done. Brought plenty of reds into play. So Bai Yulu, all she's done is broke off. I thought she might have got away with it. She didn't leave the red that went into the middle of the table, but she did leave one. And Emery looking to hit the ground running here. 2021 European under-21 champion. Beat Julian Leclerc in the final of that. He had a good win earlier over Leon Crowley. And in fact, he plays fellow Belgian Luca Brissell tomorrow.
24.
Emery also a former Welsh under-21 champion, Welsh amateur champion in 2021. He dropped off in 2024 off the main tour, won a Q Tour event, got back on. So this is his second year of the latest card. Just left this a little awkward, needing the rest for the black. No problem, though. So, yeah, he won one match in the China Open. Pang Jun-Yu then beat him 6-0, but he then beat Onyi, Jusa, and in the final round, Tepchara Nu to qualify for the Wuhan Open. So he's in the last 32 of that. He'll be off to China next month for that tournament. Final stages of the Shenzhen Open, late September, early October. He would need to win 3 matches to qualify. It's a tough section, actually, because after this match, the eventual winner, if they get through to the final round, will play Zhang Anda. But first, they've got to beat Jackson Page. So it is a tough section. But at the moment, I'm not sure you'd want to play Dylan Emery, really. He was actually in action the first day of the Championship League, back on June the 22nd. It was a strange day because Kyron Wilson was in his group, and sadly he had to withdraw before he played Dylan Emery because his house, as you probably know, was burgled. Had to go home and sort that out. And there was a sort of scenario where Emery might actually miss out through various voiding of matches. But anyway, he won the group.
46.
And then he won his second group. Just left this black tricky now, so needs such good cueing close to the side cushion. And that's exactly what it got. This is a explosive start from Emery.
43.
Mentioned Julian Leclerc, that match finished not so long ago. A bit of a heartbreaker for Leon Crowley, who was clearing up to potentially win 5-4. He went down to the black. Leclerc eventually potted it. He'll play Luca Brissell, as I say, tomorrow. Wang Jingbo, a couple of centuries in beating Louis Heathcote. Actually had one himself. Ashley Hugel, a couple of centuries to beat Zhao Hanyang. Ben Mertens also winner this afternoon. Gong Chengzi, you might have watched that on the main table. And Yao Peng Cheng, who seems to be the man in qualifying, because of course he got through
51.
in both China and Wuhan. He beat Mitchell Mann 5-2. Liam Davies beat his fellow Welshman, Jamie Jones 5-2. But this is a great start from Emery, who now is just looking to put the finishing touches to this frame and really lay down a marker. All Bai Yulu has done is break off here.
58.
And it's surely all she's going to do in this frame now. Emery already 6 centuries this season. He made 12 all of last season, so it just shows you how he's hit the ground running in this campaign. These early weeks for the lower ranked players so important. We've had the 2 qualifiers, the Championship League, 3 qualifiers this week. Shenzhen, the British Open and the English Open. And this is a great time to hit form. Put yourself through to those final stages. Well, there's no way back in the frame. It's just a question of how many he makes now. I guess he wants to keep Bai Yulu away from the table. She might come back for a bit of table time if he breaks down. So he'll be looking to press on here and not give her that opportunity. Well, just a dream start, and looking now to pop this last red and then the colour for the century. He's not going to miss this pink, is he? So just a fantastic way to launch the evening for Dylan Emery. Some of the other tables, they're still sort of fudging around, playing safe. Dylan Emery, not in the mood for that.
104.
There is a £5,000 high break prize in this tournament. Wang Jingbo set the early pace for that, 135. It's not going to stand, I wouldn't think, though.
109. 80.
Well, it just needs to work on position on the black. But this is the perfect start. Bai Yulu broke off. Dylan Emery, first shot, potted a red. Is the black there? Not quite, but 124. That is what you call hitting the ground running. As Stuart Bingham would say, he's made a century first poke. Well, it's best of 9 here, and well, we don't know how Bai Yulu's playing because she's only had 1 shot so far, but of course she is twice women's world champion. Dylan Emery, as I mentioned, he dropped off the tour in 2024. He came so close to getting back through the Q School. He lost in the final round of the first one, the penultimate round of the second one, and that meant he was the #1 Q School top-up. So that season he actually got in loads of ranking events, pretty much all of them, and was able to earn money, as well as playing on the Q Tour, the amateur tour, and he managed to get back on at the end of that year. So he always seemed, and the rankings don't lie, okay, but he always seemed too good to drop off. He's found his way back on, and that's good news, I think, for one of the younger stars of British snooker. And clearly this season he's looking really confident. Last season wasn't his best. He got to the last 32 of his home event, the Welsh Open, and so the Championship League second stage, which is effectively the last 32. Other than that, it wasn't his best year, but this season he's really looking good. You can see Paul Norris there on the table 2. He's, of course, a 59-year-old new professional. Won the Asia Oceania playoff. He's playing Jordan Brown tonight. No other frames over, but the other matches are all interesting this evening. We've got that one, as I mentioned, Brown Norris. Rhian Evans, 12 times women's world champion, reached the final again this year. She's up against Michal Larkov from Ukraine. Oliver Brown against Latvia's Artem Zhuzhin. Liu Wenwei against Yuan Jihao, all Chinese affair. Sir Yishen against Luo Zhetao, another all Chinese affair. Lan Yuhao against Ashley Carty, and David Grace against Florian Nursler. So frame 2, Dylan Emery made 124 in frame 1. Of course, the Championship League was won by a Welshman, Jack Jones, his first ranking title. Yeah, a slightly different break-off shot. I mean, he didn't intend to get the cue ball by the yellow, but it was even so a more standard shot than Bai Yulu's, which went wrong, and badly wrong for her. She's ranked 114 in the world, 23 years of age. It was her birthday just last week. She made 4 centuries last season, including the highest by a woman in a professional event, 145 at the International Championship. But other than that, it was a bit of a disappointing campaign. A couple of last 64s in the British Open and shootout. Of course, she has previously, in 2024, reached the final round of qualifying for the UK Championship. Pretty good shot that. It was well weighted because, of course, she hasn't had any table time at all. It's only the second shot she's played, so could easily have either under hit that or over hit it. Well, looks set to be one of these frames where reds start going into bulk and will start to spread, and the safety is down the black end. Big David Grace, he had a good championship league because he won the group that Zhao Xingtong was in, and obviously Zhao was a big favourite not only to win that but for the event. Well, Grace has just won, or about to win, the first frame against Florian Nursler, who needs a load of snookers, so good start for David. And Paul Norris, 77-0 up in the first frame against Jordan Brown, so he's going to be 1-0 up there. He really is finding his feet at a late age, of course. Oliver Brown's won the first against our team, Zhuzhen, with a break of 52. While Emery running the cue ball down towards the baulk cushion. In some ways trying to make the frame a bit more conventional. Well, he left a tempter, and Bai Yulu was tempted. Now, either needs this to slow up or a little kiss. He's had neither.
One.
Well, that cue ball just seemed to drift off. Ashley Carty has taken the first against Lan Yuhao. All these matches in the first qualifying round, the last 1-2-8 round, to get into the last 96. So it's a tiered system. Bai Yulu has a go at the red, doesn't get it, and has left a potential starter here to left corner.
One.
And I'm sure Bai Yulu will be concerned after sitting out the first frame the way she did. You can just see how confident Dylan Emery is at the moment off the back of that good performance in the Championship League. And it's a long tournament that. He was there on day 1 and he was there on the last day, day 21. Because he wasn't there every day in between. But the point is he lasted the course until the final 2 groups. Well, he's just got there. It's a little thinner, this red, than maybe he would have liked, but you still fancy him for it. Well, there's a red at the bottom left of the cluster that goes, but he could play into them. Try and get them open, stay aggressive, which is what he's been from the start of this match. And that's what he's doing. He's on one. He's going to need the rest, but he's on one to left corner. So we can see his approach tonight. He's determined to play an attacking game, his natural game. Taking the confidence from his early season form forward in this match. Well, that's not great. A little far for the pink to middle. The blue is another option. Looks like blue. Needs to be on this red to left corner. Good recovery on the blue. And it looks like he's held the cue ball nicely. It's a very impressive start, this, for Dylan Emery. But he's missed that, so the promising start has come to an end. And he's left an open for Bai Yulu.
Six. Seven.
Bai Yulu's breakthrough on the women's tour came in 2023. She won the British Open, beat Ryan Evans in the final. And then later that season won the World Championship. She won the UK Championship in 2024, retained the World Championship, retained the UK Championship, and has become a real star of the women's game. But of course, didn't win this year's. That was Panchaya Chenoy, who ran Jiang Zheng close actually earlier, lost out just 5-3. But she's clearly a major talent and is looking to show that here, because this could easily have been 2-0. Looking to show Dylan Emery how well she's playing. Hasn't had a good start to the season. Lost first round of the China Open and Wuhan Open qualifiers and didn't get out of her group in the Championship League either.
Seven.
Yeah, nicely cued, just off the side cushion. But now, these remaining reds are going to need some attention. They're all a little awkwardly placed.
Four. Forty-one.
Well, that's the first of them dealt with. Now, can she bring this red off the right-hand side cushion? Well, I think she's playing for the one on the left-hand side, between yellow and blue. But got to be so accurate here. She'll need the rest as well.
28.
Or can she just reach it? Well, that's a bit of a stretch. Maybe just a little extra length on the cue. Still a bit of a stretch, this. Oh, she's done well there. Nice straight cueing. But still, the problem of these last two reds. She will need both of them to win the frame. Been a really good break so far, and she has got this red out, so can she pot it and then attend to the last red? 26 the lead, so needs the two reds here to win this frame. Could play onto the red, the right corner. That's what she's done. So this is the shot. She's 27 in front, well 34 in front with the black. Either way, she needs the red. Problem she's got though is, as you can see, everything else is there, all the other colours on their spot, so no security. Brilliant. Well, what a terrific break this has been from Bai Yulu. Dylan Emery threw everything at her in the first frame with a century. He was in this one. When she came to the table, several balls were safe. But she's worked out the puzzle, and this is a great response and a very entertaining start to the match all round.
68. Seven.
Just seems everyone changes hands these days as well. Amazing.
52.
Well, Emery was making the running for a frame and a half, but he's seen what can happen if you break down against Bai Yulu.
77.
Not quite a century, but still a terrific break this.
82.
Well, a bit like Emery in frame one, she hasn't finished on the black. Doesn't matter. All the damage has been done, An 88 from Bai Yulu in response to Dylan Emery's 124 in the first frame. High quality stuff here in Leicester this evening, and the match is all square at 1 each. Very much game on, isn't it? Just to run down the other scores. David Grace 1-0 up on Florian Nursler. Lu Zetao is 1-0 up on Zhe Yishen. In fact, that was a black ball frame. I think that was a respot frame. Oliver Brown 1-0 up on our team Zhejian. Paul Norris 1-0 up on Jordan Brown, but Jordan Brown is going to level up there. He's miles in front in the next, so that'll be 1-1. Lu Wenwei and Huang Jihao still in the first frame. And Michael Larkoff 1-0 up on Rhian Evans. David Grace 104 in the first frame against Florian Nursler, and he's already on a break of 49 in the second. 8 tables here, and this is still round 1 of the Shenzhen Open. It's a 4-day qualifier, but then we have 2 days from Thursday and Friday of the British Open, and 2 days Saturday and Sunday of the English Open qualifiers as well. So 8 days in total. Now in frame 1, Bai Yulu broke off and didn't get another shot, so that's something she's got to be mindful of here. Trying to get a good break off. Well, a red has come down, but it looks like the brown is blocking it. Got close. Needs cover. And has got cover and holds his hand up because that was fortunate. Jordan Brown 106 clearance to level up with Paul Norris at 1 each. David Grace has broken down in that second frame, so Florian Nursler 55 behind, but with a chance to get back into that one. Again, this needs such straight cueing. Oh dear, well, it got anything but. Well, the way he started, he was looking a big favourite. He obviously made the century, 1-2-4, was in the second, but Mr. Red, and it's the fact that Bai Yulu punished him so ruthlessly that's just changed the dynamic a little bit in this match. You know, if she'd faltered there, Dylan Emery would be forgiven for thinking, right, I've got a big chance tonight, but the fact is she didn't, and maybe that's just applied a bit of pressure to him. Oh, double kiss. And he's left a sitter for Bai Yulu. Just to say, another of the female representatives on tour, Rhian Evans, gone 2-0 down to Michael Larkov from Ukraine.
One.
Well, that break she made in the last frame, the 88, was superb because it wasn't straightforward. There were several balls awkward. This is a bit different because she's coming to the frame at the start of it, looking to develop these reds and try and get something going. She's already got, I mean, she's not been a pro long, but she's already got quite a reputation. That run to the final qualifying round of the UK Championship in 2024. Beat some really good players there, including Scott Donaldson. And other players sit up and take notice of that. Well, she's got the reds open, but this finish not good on this black. She's looking at the potting angle here. It's thin. She needs the rest. It's a huge shot because the reds are there waiting to be potted. Wonderful shot. So much capacity for that to go wrong, and she's a little unlucky in a way. If the red doesn't go between brown and green, not to be on a better red. If it does, then happy days. Well, seems it does. It was a really terrific black, that, under pressure. Well, she's just strayed into an area here where she's not really on anything. It seemed quite hard to do with the Reds' position where they are, but it's just not really very good at all. Oh, really good recovery. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, she's playing really good stuff here because she's potting the pressure balls. Balls where if she missed them, she'd likely be leaving Emery in. And of course, he's already made 124. First visit to the table in frame one. So Bai Yulu, if she can just keep nicely in now, with a great chance to go 2-1 up.
38.
Worth reiterating, she made a 145 break in a ranking event last season, the International Championship in China. So she can score, and we've seen it already in this match with the 88. Couple of balls from securing the frame. This blue and one more red required. Oh, and she's missed frame ball. So 68, but there's still a potential 75 on. How significant could that be? Because everything is there for Dylan Emery. Such a big moment. It's only frame 3, but Dylan Emery with a chance to steal the frame. Bai Yulu 68, not quite enough. Just missed that extra red that was required. Has nothing in terms of colours on cushions.
7.
So you'd rather be Dylan Emery right now, although he's trailing. You'd rather be at the table. Oh, but he's missed that. What a let-off that is. And surely it's cost him the frame. So Emery, for a frame and a half, was going great guns, but missed a red in frame 2 and was punished and hasn't quite regained his composure. And of course it means Bai Yulu can forget about the red she missed. It doesn't matter. She wasn't punished and she's going to be 2-1 up. Very interesting match, high quality, and it means the odd mistake is significant. Doesn't matter about that. The damage done, it was done rather by Dylan Emery, failing to get too close to punishing the Bai Yulu miss, and helped by the earlier 68. It is the twice women's world champion, Bai Yulu, who leads here by 2 frames to 1. Reminder, the winner will play Jackson Page in round 2, with Zhang Anda waiting in the final round of qualifying. Other scores while we have a moment. David Grace 2-0 up on Florian Nursler. Grace made 108 in the first and 55 in the second. Lu Zhaitao of China is 2-0 up on Zhu Yeshen. And he's made 132 there in the second frame, a new professional. Making his mark already. Jordan Brown and Paul Norris is 1 each. Brown made 106 there, a clearance in frame 2. Ashley Carty 2-0 up on Lan Yihao. Wang Zhihao 1-0 up on Lu Wenwei, and it's 2-0 Michael Lockoff over Rhian Evans. So we're just waiting for Bai Yulu to return for the last frame before the mid-session interval. Worth just going back to, I mentioned she got to the final qualifying round of the UK Championship 2 years ago. The players she beat there, Farrakha Jave, Jamie Jones, Scott Donaldson, before Jack Lazowski beat her. So some very experienced scalps. Long way to go, but she's impressed so far this evening as we get frame 4 underway. Well, that's cut off, I think, almost all of the reds here. May just be able to flick off the right-hand side. Yeah, he can. We actually caught that a little thick, and hence the cue ball not back to the baulk line. And hence he left that chance, and Bai Yulu knocks it in. Can she just drop this red in with the rest? Got to keep dead still on the shot. Potted that so nicely, so cleanly. She's been terrific tonight. The first frame she played one shot, she broke off. Dylan Emery made 124, but when a chance came in the second, she made 88. Okay, she broke down on 68 in the third, but wasn't punished. Other than that, she's done very little wrong. She's putting pressure on Dylan Emery all the time here. His own mistakes magnified by the punishment that she's doling out. That's not gone to plan.
Well,
Just followed through a little too much, so surely end of break now. Well, he's taking the pink on. She is, and she's got it.
'80.
Just dispatching these pots with real confidence. I'm sure it was a blow to not retain her world title, of course she did last year, but was looking for the hat-trick, and Panchaya Chenoy prevented her and several others as well, including, of course, Rhian Evans in the final. Well, is there a plant here? That would be handy. 2-ball plant to right corner. She feels so clearly.
'36.
Just ever so slightly hampered by the red near to the left cushion. He's looking to play into the reds here. Now maybe the red to the yellow pocket to continue. And then everything is there. But that isn't there. Well, it was a big shot in the frame because, I say, all the other reds are potable, but that's the problem now. Dylan Emery steps to the table, 33 behind. He's got this red to left middle. Feels like a big visit this for Dylan Emery, because a couple of mistakes from him have been punished, and this is his chance to level up. I'm sure when he started the match with that century and was in frame 2, he must have had the feeling that this was going to be his night. But as it is, he's involved in a real high-quality battle here. Had the chance in the last frame from 68 behind and didn't get very far in terms of overturning that deficit. Meanwhile, Jordan Brown has had back-to-back centuries, 106 and 115, to lead Paul Norris to 1. One way or the other, this frame, indeed this visit, is going to set the mood going to the interval. Points level. Playing the cannon to pink just to stay on this red to right corner. Everything pots, so not got to develop anything now, which is why he is the favourite for this frame. But of course, we know that things can go wrong at any point.
41.
Sure, we'll want to save this red in bulk for when he's playing for the yellow. Oh, he's missed the pink. Wow. And there down comes the cue. And the referee just having a word with him. But that is a bit of pressure creeping in. Dylan Emery, again, with the chance to back in a frame. And as in the last frame, it's gone wrong. And he's getting a bit hot under the collar. Bai Yulu must sense a big chance here. 8 behind to go 3-1 up at the interval. And the whole psychology of the match then would favour her. Not just the scoreline, of course, 3-1 up, but Dylan Emery with an uncomfortable 15 minutes to stew about what's happened, because he's had the chances. Did not expect him to miss that ping.
6.
She's made the odd mistake as well, but overall she's been excellent. Bearing in mind she had one shot in the first frame, she broke off. Emery 124, he was in the second. But when he missed, Bai Yulu made 88 with several balls awkwardly placed. Then she made 68 in frame 3, broke down, Emery didn't punish. We saw Bai Yulu break down in this frame. Again, Emery didn't punish, missed that pink. Whacked his cue on the table. And he'll be even more annoyed in a few minutes' time if Bai Yulu does the necessary here. Which you fancy her to do. She needs up to including the blue for a 3-1 interval advantage.
18.
She's looked very calm tonight. And also very attacking in her shot selection. So she's taken the game to Dylan Emery. 2 more pots and she's got the lead at the break. So Emery got to the last day of the Championship League. He's qualified for the World Open already. He's made a good start to the season, but he hasn't ultimately made a good start to this match. It's Bai Yulu, the twice women's world champion, who's making the running. Bai Yulu leads Dylan Emery 3-1. Now, we don't have a half-time show here at the Mattioli Arena, but we will be back in 15 minutes for the rest of this compelling match.
23 upstairs. Dylan, 22 plus. Weekly break.
So the players are back after the interval. And it is Bai Yulu, the twice women's world champion, leading Dylan Emery by 3 frames to 1. Very interesting and high quality match this. Took just about an hour to get to the interval. Bai Yulu broke off in the first frame. Dylan Emery made 124. He was in early in the second, broke down. Bai made 88. She made 68 early in the third. Missed frame ball, but Emery couldn't punish. And then similar story in the fourth frame. Bai Yulu broke down. Emery had a good chance, it's got to be said, to make it 2-2. He missed. Whacked his cue on the table. Bai Yulu did enough for a 3-1 lead. It's best of 9. She still needs 2 more frames to advance to the second round of qualifying for the Shenzhen Open. Wow, I thought she'd got that. That was so close to dropping. It really was. Well, Dylan Emery had that 15 minutes to collect his thoughts, because he did react when he missed, and it wasn't a big deal really, but just needs to cool his jets a bit. I noticed he left his cue in the arena, so there was no thought to going to the practice table. Just go and sit quietly somewhere and just get his thoughts together. Played really well in that first frame, but nothing to show for it since. The problem, though, has been how well Bai Yulu has played. She's looked really good tonight. Just quickly run down the other scores. It's 3-0 David Grace over Florian Nussler. 2-2 Oliver Brown and Artem Zhuzhin. 2-1 Jordan Brown over Paul Norris. 2-1 Ashley Carty over Lan Yuhao. 2-0 Yuan Jiao over Lu Wenwei. 2-1 Michael Larkov over Ryan Evans. And it's going to be 3-1 Luo Zheitao over Sir Yishen. Still got a chance, but played a good cue ball. And now just the roll up to the Reds here from Emery. Again, the complication of the Reds going into bulk, just keeping the safety play down the black end of the table. Well, we watch this. Paul Norris has levelled up 2-2 with Jordan Brown, who's had 2 centuries there, Brown, but it's 2 each at the interval. All about the cue ball, which he's got not quite tight to the cushion, but near enough. Again, all about the cue ball. Would have liked it, of course, nearer the cushion. Well, it was a potential opener for Dylan Emery, but they're just not quite landing at the moment. He's under pressure. The fact he's 3-1 down, the fact Bai Yulu's played so well, the fact he's missed a couple of chances himself in frames 3 and 4. Can Bai knock this in and get going? Well, she's knocked it in, all right.
Seven.
Pink back on its spot. So let's see how many she makes here. Plenty of reds to go at. Blue not great, but black and pink available. There's all these bulk colours. As I said earlier, she's made a poor start to the season. She hasn't won a match yet. Lost first round of qualifying for the China Open, the Wuhan Open. A couple of draws and a defeat in her group for the Championship League. So it's been not a great start, but this, of course, is a huge week here in Leicester, the qualifying for Shenzhen and then the British and English Opens. So still a chance to get some matches under her belt this week. It's 3 qualifying rounds at this event, but for example, the British Open, she'd have to win 1 to reach the venue. She's playing Sahil Nair of Canada. And then Matthias Baranowski, first round of the English Open. See Dylan Emery keeping close watch there in the background. But may not be liking what he's seeing here because, as I say, what's been noticeable tonight is that Bai Yulu has potted a lot of crunch balls that, have not been gimmies by any means. She looks confident. She's attacked from the off and surely growing confidence the bigger the lead she accrues here. China, of course, have produced so many talented players in recent years, including the last two professional world champions, Xiao Xingtong and Wu Yize. So it seems to follow that if they're going to produce, or if the game will produce an outstanding female player, they will come from China with all the infrastructure and investment that's gone in. Bai Yulu staking a claim for that.
Four.
Well, so far so good.
41.
She's got a couple of safe reds as well, which is security with the lead she's building. Break reaches 48. So now it's just a matter of trying to get over the line here. She's suddenly on this green because blue not available really off its spot there. Green's lead by 52. Yeah. It's just starting to get a bit more complicated there, but it was still a decent effort, 49, and a useful lead. Wang Jihao has gone 3-0 up on his fellow Chinese, Lu Wenwei. And 3-1 Michael Larkoff over Rhian Evans at the interval. Well, Emery has a chance to get back into the frame. It's going to be hard to win it from this visit with safe reds, but it could have been 4-1 there to Bai Yulu. That red nailed to the left-hand side cushion is clearly an issue, and when Bai Yulu missed the green, she did knock the black a little safer.
Nine. Yep.
So the last red looking like the key ball here. These three shouldn't give him too much difficulty in the middle of the table.
Seventeen. Four. Thirty.
So playing to release the red here, and he's played it really well.
31.
Could see he was sort of building up a plan there, and it's come off to the extent that he's potted the red, but of course now needs to try and put this frame away. And the blue is still potentially an issue. Just a little safer there than it could be. So far he's taken these really well.
8. Fifty-nine.
So it's gearing up to be about blue to pink, I think, for the frame. Which means brown to blue is a big shot.
45.
Well, the yellow was a big shot first, and he's missed it. Wow, didn't see that coming.
45.
Did not see that coming. More frustration for Dylan Emery. Well, this really is a huge part of the match now. Bai Yulu pots the yellow, shows 6 in front. She will need green, brown and blue, but not pink. But this green awkward, queuing from the side rail. Yeah, it didn't really threaten the pocket in the end. That's a massive let-off for Dylan Emery. And he missed the yellow to the same pocket. he's flicked the blue into a better position, but just look where the cue ball's finished. And again, he's getting frustrated. He's trying to keep a lid on his emotions. Not easy. Just needed to land on the brown, and surely it's 3-2, and he's devastated what's happened there. Struggling to accept it.
Emery, speed.
What a dramatic juncture of this match. 4-1 or 3-2, resting on the next few minutes. Playing thin off the brown. Or trying to. Good effort this. Not quite a snooker, but nicely played. She's got distance between them. Again, could try and get the cue ball down somewhere behind the black. That's her intention. And this looks good. This looks really good. She's got Dylan Emery in all sorts of trouble. But, of course, part of the story tonight is the mistakes he's made as well. Missed the yellow. Then, of course, potting the green, finished on top of the brown. Now he's in a snooker. Good hit, but he's left a chance. Bai Yulu checking the scores. 3 points in front, so needs brown, blue and pink. Oh dear, well, of course, she'd already missed the green to that pocket earlier in the frame. It was on the blue with a nice angle to get on the pink, but the brown's not in. Went for it. Where's it all going to finish? Oh, she'll be delighted. Apologises, but she'll be delighted. That brown was racing round the table. Could have finished anywhere. Keeping the pressure on. Well, that's another potential pot to the yellow pocket. She hasn't backed away from taking shots on tonight. Didn't fancy that one, though. And she's got second prize. Nicely played again. Can Dylan Emery hit this and get it safe? Well, he hasn't hit it. Suspect it'll be going back. 7 points in it, so the difference it makes is that Bai Yulu now needs just brown and blue, not pink as well. Good hit. Notice something on the brown ball. Well, it's a thin cut. No position.
4.
The longest frame of the match, and it feels like the most important. Bai Yulu needing the blue, Dylan Emery needing all three. He'll still be trailing at 3-2, but 4-1. He's really up against it. Against a confident opponent here this evening. She's not giving him any presents here. Managed to avoid the double kiss. Well, it's a potential chance at the pot, but not easy. Cue ball close to the top cushion. And also he's 3-1 down with his opponent just needing the blue to extend it to 4-1. So this is tough. Great shot. Cue ball running a bit though. Cue ball running a bit. Well, nothing's coming easy to Dylan Emery. He's still on the pink. Just a bit thinner than ideal. It was a terrific blue he potted. In goes the pink. And he's going to have a shot at the black. Caught the knuckle of the right middle pocket. That cue ball could have finished anywhere actually, but it's finished plumb on the black. So this for 3-2 to very much stay in the match. Yeah, he was a little fortunate with position, but you've got to say it was a fantastic pot on the blue. And Dylan Emery very relieved to win that frame on the black and to reduce Bai Yulu's lead here to 3-2. So while we wait for Dylan Emery to return, the other scores tonight. David Grace 4-0 up at the interval against Florian Nursler. Lu Zitao 3-1 up against Zhe Yishen. Jordan Brown and Paul Norris 2-2. Our team's judging now 3-2 up on Oliver Brown. Lan Yuhao and Ashley Carty are 2-2. Ryan Evans trading 3-1 to Michael Larkoff. Yuan Jiao 3-0 up on Lu Wenwei. Yeah, he apologised there because when he potted the pink, the cue ball just caught the knuckle of the right middle pocket and then it's in the lap of the gods where it finishes, but it finished good for Dylan Emery, nicely on the black. Bai Yulu though had chances before that. She missed a green, she missed a brown, she missed a blue. Playing for a place in the second round, the last 96 round. So this is the last 1-8. Last 96 is round 2 of qualifying, where the winner will play Jackson Page for the right to play Zhang Anda in the last 64. Now, last 64 matches featuring top 16 players have been held over to Shenzhen itself. So the likes of Mark Williams, the defend champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Zhao Xingtong, Judd Trump, Mark Selby, Neil Robertson, etc. We'll see them in the final stages. And we'll continue when Dylan Emery returns here. The match has got a lot closer.
Frame 6. Dylan Emery to break.
So relieved Dylan Emery breaks off in frame 6 of a possible 9. It's been a high quality match, a dramatic match. Emery winning with a blue, pink and black clearance. That most recent frame, frame 5. Bai Yulu leading 3-2. Just one ball away from making it 4-1. And now a little bit of pressure maybe transfers to her shoulders. Dylan Emery was certainly feeling it. But now that she's failed to get that breathing space, the 3-frame lead, how will it affect her? We'll see.
Miss. Dylan Emery 7.
Well, he's had a look, but he's having the cue ball replaced. Our team Zhejian has gone 3-2 up now on Oliver Brown. And Lu Zheitao 4-1 over Ze Yishen. Slight adjustment needed here. Well, she obviously got there. Looks like a good return safety, this. Tap on the table from Dylan Emery confirms the fact. First time they played each other. I'm sure that he, though, has seen her results over the last couple of years. Double kiss. So a mistake from Dylan Emery. She's sort of looking at a potential plant, which would clearly have to be made. They're not touching each other, the two reds. And there's a red next to them that also, I think, pots to middle. Well, it was the plant. It wasn't nailed on that by any means. Maybe the other red just didn't go. In which case, Dylan Emery, a little fortunate, the double kiss didn't leave an easier chance. Become very tense, this match. That last frame obviously underscoring that, going to the black. They both played well at times. Bai Yulu certainly to the interval. But now the sort of tension maybe to start to cloud things a little. Neither player clearly looking to leave any sort of starter for their opponent.
Emery 4.
Well, again, he's had a look, but he's going to go back. Didn't really seem to be much there. So hoping for an easier starter if Bai Yulu does again fail to make contact. Looks like she's got this one though. Rhian Evans has pulled one back, 3-2. She trails Michael Larkoff. She's made a 70 break, Evans, in that fifth frame. Well, she's still going for her shots, but they're not quite hitting the target now. Oh, it's a real standoff at the moment, isn't it? And there's some good safety being played here. The match, they got to the interval in about an hour, but it slowed down as we get deeper and it starts to feel a bit more significant. Thing is, it's good safety being played. Neither player really leaving chances. Who's going to blink first in this exchange? Just avoided that secondary kiss. And it's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. So a chance at last, and Dylan Emery knocks the red in. It's quite a protracted bout of safety, but the dam has burst there. Now then, what would it lead to, is the question. Just clear that area. That's worked out well. I think he's looking at particularly the black. You know, if he potted the black at some point, would it get tied up? So he's just trying to clear some of those reds away. He's finished on one, but that's okay. He rolled the dice and it's worked. that hasn't really worked out. Just not finished good at all on any colour.
Green ball.
So the match has changed in its style. It was free-flowing, as I say, about an hour to get to the interval, first 4 frames, but they've been back for an hour and have only just completed one more frame, and this second one already quite a lengthy affair. "21 minutes, only 18 points on the board." Well, we've had our first result of the night. Lo Zitao of China, a rookie professional, has beaten Zhe Yichen, his compatriot, 5-1. With a top break of 132 in frame 2. That's a tough pot where she was queuing from. She's not on the colour.
Yellow ball.
Can just get through the gap, it seems, to at least hit this yellow. Last match to reach the interval is Yang Jihao 4-0 up on Lu Wenwei. Rhian Evans has come back to 3-3 with Michael Larkov. She was 3-1 down there. Jordan Brown still being held to 2-2 by Paul Norris, but it looks like 3-2 Brown now. 42-minute frame, but he's well in front. And they're on the blue. A couple of snookers needed. This frame, very unlike the previous 5 in this match. Protracted standoff at the start of it. Still 12 reds remaining. Bai Yulu still really going for her shots, despite losing that tight fifth frame on the black. It hasn't changed her approach. Can just give you tomorrow's matches actually on the main table. So at 10 o'clock local time, it's an all Hong Kong affair. Marco Fu against Ong Yi Young. And then 2:30 again local time, Fang Jiangyi against Jimmy White. Of course, White had the walkover with Ian Burns withdrawing as Emery knocks that in. At 7 o'clock, it's the all Belgian affair. Luca Brissell against Julien Leclerc. Looking forward to that one tomorrow night. They're the table one matches, so they'll have the commentary. So it's taken quite a bit of time to actually get in this frame. Emery, of course, had a little visit earlier, but back in now. Just hard to put anything together in this frame. Got himself 29 in front, but still plenty on. 10 red still on. David Grace 4-1 over Florian Nursler. The fifth frame came down to the colours there, but Nursler has won it. Jordan Brown did win that fifth frame as well, so he's 3-2 up on Paul Norris. It's 4-2 Artem Zhuzhin over Oliver Brown. 3-2 Lan Yuhao over Ashley Carty, who was 2-0 up. Rhiannon Evans to level up. She made breaks of 70 and 109, so coming back very strongly against Michael Larkoff. 3-3 there. Meanwhile, Emery's caught that too thick. So this is Bai Yulu's first good chance in this frame. She had a couple of half chances, but now a much better one. If you're just joining us, she made a break of 88 in the second frame in response to Emery's 124 in the first. Well, she could stay around this black spot for now. So, every chance to certainly be in front when she leaves the table. Obviously hoping to secure the frame here. this black then
24.
to take the lead. And if she can stay around the black here with these reds, she won't need the baulk colours, which are not ideally placed. Big chance this to go 4-2 up for Bai Yulu.
31. Nine. 40.
And this is how she's been all night, really calm and focused, just going about her business. Emery just peeping round there, seeing that red dispatched.
48.
Well, she'll need at least one of the reds on the top cushion is the bottom line here. I guess ideally she wanted to play on the black of this red to be nearer to them. But that's not an option now. So this next shot, getting on the red, feels key. Should be 30 in front with the blue. So red and a black, Emery would need a snooker. So this positional shot is the crunch shot now in this frame. And it's not worked out.
No.
So 30 in front, 43 on, another close frame. Had another result. Our team Shenzhen has beaten Oliver Brown 5-2. But Bai Yulu's
Bai Yulu, 59.
break has come to an end at 59. thin off this red. Cue ball to balk. Oh dear, that's not as intended at all. Well, she's been fortunate, really. Had to screw back past the other red if he was taking that one on, but he in fact has left the red on that he was attempting. So Bai Yulu, well, she needs red and a black, but the next red should be available anyway. So really, it feels like this is the shot. Pop the red, get on the black. It should be 4-2. Because the other red's over the pocket. If she misses it, though, and Emery looking resigned, but he would have a chance. So this is about a straight piece of cue, and we've got the perfect view of this from right behind the shot. Well, it's in, but not on the black particularly nicely. She could take the blue. The blue would put us 36 in front, 35 on, but it's going to be black. Dylan Emery will need a snooker if it goes in, but it's not in yet. Ah, nicely done. There's no real ambition about position on the red. So... not quite over yet, but 38 the lead, 35 on. No sort of hesitation, though, with that black, was there? You know, she got down. It was a pressure ball in theory. Got down, knocked it in. Martin Judgen, he was 65-0 down to Oliver Brown, who made a 65 break in that 7th frame, but won it on the black. Not a clearance, but even so. A big steal for the Latvian. Oh, that was well played, actually. Dicing with death a little, but it's Dylan Emery, who's under it here, needs a snooker. And the double kiss. Not great. Yeah, and that's a really good pot. So it's going to be, surely, 4-2 to Bai Yulu. She lost the last frame on the black, but is really battling hard here tonight. And Dylan Emery is going to have to win the last 3 frames to stay in the Shenzhen Open. Well, he may play on just because of where the colours are. They're actually good spots for snookers, but he needs 3 to tie as it stands. Well, in fact, he's not playing on. He's seen enough. So, Bai Yulu leads 4-2. And both players leaving the arena. She needs 1. Dylan Emery needs all 3. So, we've had a couple of results tonight. Lo Zhetao beat Su Yishen 5-1. Martin Judgen beat Oliver Brown 5-2. It's 4-2 David Grace over Florian Nursler. It's 3-2 Jordan Brown over Paul Norris. 3-2 Lan Yuhao over Ashley Carty. 4-0 Huang Jihao over Lu Wenwei. And it's 3-3 Rhian Evans and Michael Larkov. 1 of 8 days qualifying. We have 4 days of the Shenzhen Open. Thursday and Friday, the British Open. Saturday and Sunday, the English Open. All held here at the Mattioli Arena in Leicester, and we will pick up the coverage when the players return. So Dylan Emery has returned, just waiting for Bai Yulu. You can see there Jordan Brown on table 2, 3-2 up on Paul Norris. Bit of a battle, that one. Final stages in Shenzhen. This was the Xi'an Grand Prix last season, so it's the same format, the same prize money, same promoter actually. And Mott Williams will be the defending champion. Remember, he became the oldest ranking event winner last year at the age of 50. So the top 16 seeded through in the last 64 round. However, last 64 matches featuring the players ranked 17 to 32 will be played here on Wednesday. So we'll see players like Stuart Bingham, Jack Jones, recent winner of the Championship League, Jack Lazowski, Tepchara Nu, all these big names of the sport, Stephen Maguire, Dave Gilbert, etc., will be here. But right now, we're waiting to see if Bai Yulu can complete what for her would be a terrific win over Dylan Emery, who got to the last day of the Championship League last week and started with a 1-2-4. That century told us he was really confident, but Bai Yulu, he's leading 4-2 as frame 7 gets underway. Well, this red is potable. Well, catching that red, but he's actually on the black quite nicely. Jordan Brown there on table 2, 3-2 and in front against Paul Norris in frame 6. Has the option to go into the reds here or play on the loose one. Just a little cannon. Nudging another red out there. Well, he can't believe he's missed that. just a few errors from Dylan Emery this evening that mystified him, bemused him. What a difference a few days make. You know, he was very happy with his run to the last day of the Championship League, albeit didn't get to the final, but was here in the last 8. That's the furthest he's ever been in a ranking event. But looks under pressure this evening. Another really good pot from Bai Yulu. She was stretching a little, but in goes the red. And in potting this pink, she should be disturbing reds as well. Assuming she pots it, of course. Well, they didn't really maybe open as she thought they would. Just one came out.
So.
So that's opened the frame up well and truly, but she's worried about this red
So.
to right middle. Has she covered it with the brown? Dylan Emery having a good look. And it would seem she has. He's having another look, but doesn't look like he can see it. There is a red down the left-hand side, but not as easy as the one could have been to right middle. He leads by 23. Great shot.
One.
Just really well struck that, wasn't it? It made a lovely sound as well, if you're Dylan Emery. So chance number 2 in this frame, and it's a good one. To pull back to 4-3.
Nine.
Lanyu Hao and Ashley Carty 3-3. Carty winning the 6th frame. He led 2-0. 3-3 now. And Rhian Evans is on a charge. She was 3-1 down to Michael Larkov. She now leads 4-3. Barring Snooker's Jordan Brown will be 4-2 up on Paul Norris. just a bit hard there, so the cue ball resting on the side cushion just makes this next red a little more difficult. But in it goes.
31.
He didn't make a meal of that. He just got down and knocked it in. Well, if only the pink spot had been held. He's still got this thin red to right corner, but obviously would have been plumb on that red had the pink not gone there. But that's where the pink goes. 60 in front, so just needing one more red. And wouldn't you know it, it's not straightforward. Nothing ever seems to be in this sport. The red to right corner would be thin and he'd need all the long stuff for it. Just while he looks at this, confirm that Jordan Brown is now 4-2 over Paul Norris. Yuang Jihao 4-1 over Lu Wenwei. Was 4-0 at the interval. So, not over the line yet in this frame. And not the best safety, really.
Emery, 37.
Well, not great pushing the brown shape apart from anything else there. And she has given Dylan Emery a chance at the red he needs here. This to left corner. If it goes in, it should be 4-3. So we're going into at least one more frame, it would seem. It's been an entertaining match this, good quality, some drama as well, as the green stays out there. So 61 the difference, 59 on. She will play on, surely. That green racing around the table, you know, that could have knocked another ball in. That was dangerous playing it at that pace, really. Well, cue ball's asking to be nailed to the blue, but he's got 4 reds he can hit here. Well, I guess he can take this red on to right middle. If it goes in, surely it's frame over. Not to be, though. I guess the danger now is that Bai Yulu starts to clear reds away, takes it down to the last red. And then maybe stakes are just risen a bit.
One. Eight. Nine. Bai Yulu. 9.
Well, clearly needed to pop that black to continue, so she has conceded, and it is 4-3 to Bai Yulu, and this match still very much in the balance.
Yeah.
Possible 2 frames left to play. So just to recap the results tonight, Lu Zitao beat Zhe Yishen 5-1. Our team Zhezhen beat Oliver Brown 5-2. Current scores, David Grace 4-2 up on Florian Nursler. Grace led 4-0 there. Nursler's fought back. Grace 35 in front in the next frame, early stages. Jordan Brown 4-2 now over Paul Norris. That was 2-2 at the interval. But Jordan Brown just starting to pull away. 3-3 between Lan Yuhao and Ashley Carty. Yuhao in front in the next. 4-1 Yuan Jihao over Lu Wenwei. 4-3 Rhian Evans leading Michael Larkoff 4-3. She was 3-1 down. Dylan Emery just leaving the arena. I don't know whether that's for another toilet break or what, but there have been quite a few in this match. Anyway, when he returns, we will continue. Just a reminder, Marco Fu and On Young in the morning, 10 o'clock, 2:30 is Jimmy White against Fang Zhengyi, and at 7 local time tomorrow on the main table with commentary. The all-Belgian clash, Luca Brissell against Julien Leclerc, the man they call the Belgian Beast. Brissell, of course, trying to find his way back up the world rankings so that he can avoid these qualifiers in the future. Anyway, we wait for Dylan, and we will continue. Dylan Emery back, and here we go. 4-3 Bai Yulu leads. He's won frame 7. Can he force a decider here? Remember, Jackson Page awaits in the second qualifying round of this Shenzhen Open with Zhang Anda to play the eventual winner in the third. Well, spot on there. That was beautifully judged in terms of pace. Well, quite a bit of sort of head shaking going on from Dylan Emery. Leaving Bai Yulu this initial potential opening, this red. But what could she do with this chance? Looking for her first victory of the season on the World Snooker Tour. Still quite early in the season, obviously not played many matches, but even so, looking to get off to winning ways. As I say, last season she didn't seem to press on in the way that maybe was expected, bearing in mind she had a pretty good previous season. Just a couple of last 64s, British Open and Shootout. Won just 6 matches all told. Did win 1 in the World Championship against Daniel Womersley, but then lost to Michael Holt. That was tough, and she's played it well. You might need some assistance again. Going to be the spider this time to get to this red. Well, it's her first real chance to get the match won. Highest break tonight from Bai Yulu, 88 in the second frame. She's also had breaks of 68 and 59. Apart from Emery's century, she's done the heavy scoring in this match. Well, is she actually on anything here? Good effort to get in amongst them. Well, it's going to, she's getting the rest out again. It's one of these nasty little shots from a distance away. Extension on the cue. Very easy to go wrong. Even with the extension, it's quite hard to reach the cue ball here. And to execute the shot as she would like. Oh, got close to it. Could have been left with a much easier red, though, than that one when she went into them. Well, it's fair to say that black wiped its feet. It wasn't a completely clean pot. And this next red is tough. Well, he caught the other red, so it must have been tight. Caught the other red on the way through. So that contribution didn't come to much at all. Just to say, David Grace has beaten Florian Nursler 5-2. So Grace will play Martin O'Donnell in the next round. Very tense now, this match, understandably, because it's 4-3. Been a match of two halves, really. The first 4 frames, very quick. They got to the interval in about an hour, with Bai Yulu leading 3-1. But then we had a marathon 5th frame, which Dylan Emery won on the black. Bai Yulu went 4-2 up. Emery had won the last frame, and this one well and truly in the balance. But an open table now. Going to be a good chance for someone in a minute. All about getting a good cue ball here, of course. Getting it back to that top cushion. But eventually you run out of reds to do that. And what you might see a few shots down the line is someone take one on. That's not good from Emery. Well, she's going to take one on here. Red to right middle. He didn't get the cue ball anywhere near the top cushion. So it could be about one good pot now for Bai Yulu to get back in. And it will be chance number 2 to get this match won. All starts with this red. Not to be. But it may be that that red coming back across has blocked the one just by the pink, which I think would have potted to right middle. But that other red now in the way. Did say it had become tense, and certainly the feeling now. But Emery in. Big chance now for Dylan Emery to take us to a decider. No penalties here. We just have a deciding frame if it's 4-4. Well, it's in his hands and there's pressure on, but I'm sure Dylan Emery would regard this as a good chance where the balls are. He's not having to develop any reds at all. They're all potable. So it's really about minding his work. There's one not potable by the green, but he won't need that, of course. So, yeah, it's about minding his work, just trying to keep tight control of the cue ball, and every chance we'll be heading into a decider. But he has missed the odd ball this evening out of nowhere. Try and guard against that at this stage. Black to lead by 39. And then up for the Reds. In bulk, he'll need, realistically, 3 of those with low value colours. And it's going to be 4-4. Bai Yulu did have a chance here. Bedeviled by choice. He's on a choice of 4 reds here. Great win for Rhian Evans. She was 3-1 down to Michael Larkov of Ukraine, but has won 5-3. So Rhian Evans, 12 times, of course, the Women's World Champion, will play Oliver Lines in round 2. And the winner of that will go to Shenzhen because they play Sergio Wei in the final stages. Well, it looks very likely we're going to be going the distance here. 3 more pots, and it should be 4-4. He's done well here because he's been under it this evening, and little frustrations have just threatened to get the better of him, but he's just stayed the right side of cool. He did smack his cue on the table at one point, but that's a while ago now. Back in frame 4, actually. Kept on the front foot and just saw him check the scores there. He's going to need another red after the yellow. And it's going to be a deciding frame finish. And Bai Yulu will break. And remember, her break in the first frame was the only shot she played. So that is something that she's got to get right. But credit to Dylan Emery here. He's taken these well, I think. Break stands at 62. Just sets him up this nice break for the decider. But let's be clear, they're both going to be under it in that deciding frame. I say he whacked his cue on the table. It wasn't too hard, actually. It wasn't a big deal at all. Not like Mark Selby's at the Crucible against Wu Yiza. Well, he could make another century. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is he's won the frame. Break of 69 from Dylan Emery, and he's level with Bai Yulu from 3-1 and 4-2 down at 4-4. Jordan Brown is about to complete a 5-2 victory over Paul Norris. Lan Yuhao has beaten Ashley Carty 5-3. Yuan Jihao has beaten Lu Wenwei 5-1. So these matches basically all coming to the boil now. And in the blink of an eye, it's actually going to be our table is the only one left. You can see Brown and Norris there, not quite done. Snooker's needed. But he's 44 in front. Brown with 35 on. So he's looking good to complete victory. Emery again leaving between frames. He's done that quite a lot tonight. And when he returns, we will have the conclusion. Just looking ahead to the morning matches, as I've mentioned, Fu Vion-Yi, our TV match, but we've got the likes of Stephen Allworth in action against Liu Yang. Anthony Kowalski will be taking on Fergal Quinn. Liam Highfield against Hamad Mir. Alexander Ursenbach and Jamie Clark. That's actually a first round match because Clark had to come through a prelim. In the afternoon, Stan Moody and Ulian Boyko. Jimmy White, Fang Zhengyi. Michael Holt, Ross Muir. Tom Ford against Deng Hao Wei, who beat Liam Pullum this morning. Matthew Stevens, Ben Mertens at night. Luca Brissell, Julian Leclerc is our feature match, of course. Ishpreet Singh Chad and Liam Davies. Ryan Dayashi Hugil, Aaron Hill, Yao Peng Cheng. Some really good matches to look forward to tomorrow. But right now, one more frame to look forward to this evening when Emery returns. Well, there's the handshake on table 2. So that's 5-2 to Jordan Brown over Paul Norris. So this is now the only match still on. There's the handshake. Bai Yulu led 4-2. Dylan Emery was forced to decide it. It's all on this frame. And that break-off shot will do very nicely for Bai Yulu. Well, double kiss, but he's got away with it. I say that as he left this red to right corner. He's not left the red, he got the double kiss on. And just a safety coming up. So, first chance to Emery. Only needed one in the first frame, literally his first visit. He knocked in a red, made a century, 124. Can he bookend the match with something similar? He'd love to, I'm sure. Needs to get some action on the cue ball here to get into them. It's a good effort. Not to be, though. Just caught the pink there rather than the reds.
6. Emery, 6.
Well, that's a clear mistake now. What damage done? It's a good chance, I think, this. With the black available, reds available.
What?
Dylan Emery has dodged a few bullets tonight. Is this the chance he's been looking for now to get this one? Go back to that 5th frame where Bai Yulu had chances to lead 4-1. Missed a couple of balls. Not easy, but she missed them. Dylan Emery eventually potted blue, pink and black. Doesn't sound much, but it wasn't just a straightforward clearance. And that kept him in the match at 3-2. Now he's looking to win the match at 4-4. But Bai Yulu will be watchful here because in a decider the pressure's arguably at his greatest and players can make mistakes, they can slip up. She's got to be ready if it happens to Dylan Emery. It's been a tight match, but he's looking to continue his good start to the season, qualifying for the final stages of the Wuhan Open, reaching the last state of the Championship League. But that is an unexpected miss, and you can see the reaction from Emery. So, a really good chance to get it won, and he falls short. I was saying, you know, that's why in the chair you can't afford, by your loose position, to think, oh, well, it's all done, because anything can happen at any point. And it has. Not exactly left a sitter, though. She needs the rest for this. The black waiting. But the red needs potting first. Yeah, so Bai Yulu gets a chance in the decider. Saw Dylan Emery in absolute agony when he missed this black. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Bai Yulu, 8.
Well, the pressure may be getting to both in this decider, but that is such a reprieve for Dylan Emery. Not punished at all for his missed black. And he gets another opportunity to get this one.
1.
Bai Yulu has really taken the game to him tonight. She led the way at 3-1, as I say. Could have been, maybe should have been 4-1. Will she get another chance now? Maybe not.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. 17.
So the lead 39, and these reds exactly where you want them, really, to get this one now. And to survive a real opening round scare in the Shenzhen Open. As I say, I think he would have come here in good spirits, in a good mood at the start of the season he's had. But of course he wants to continue that. He's made his 7th century of the season here tonight. Now he's just trying to haul himself over the winning line. Couple of reds with big colours, and he should be there.
32. Nine.
So certainly not plain sailing, far from it. But Dylan Emery, with this black, will get to the snooker's required stage. Bai Yulu from 1-0 down to 3-1 was superb. Had the chance for 4-1. That just seemed like such a big frame.
47.
Even so, Emery had to come from 4-2 down. Now just make sure of this next red, and that should be it. He'll play his fellow Welshman, Jackson Page, next, with Shangander awaiting the winner of that one. It's a tough section, and this has been a tough battle. And I'm sure he will acknowledge how well Bai Yulu has played, but the twice women's world champion will fall at the first hurdle, and it's Dylan Emery who does, after all, maintain his good start to the season.
61.
World number 70, so every ranking point he can muster will ensure he gets in that top 64, and he's not having to flirt with Q School and tour relegation at the end of the season. Didn't win the frame at his first visit, but has taken these well, I think.
69.
Red stays out, but he's done more than enough. Dylan Emery defeats Bai Yulu by 5 frames to 4. An exciting match, high quality at times. There were mistakes as well, but it is Dylan Emery who progresses to the second round of qualifying for the Shenzhen Open by way of a decider. Well, that concludes our coverage of day 1 here in Leicester. We'll be back. I'll be back in the morning, 10 o'clock, for Marco Fu against On Yi. We'll have Jimmy White in action in the afternoon against Fang Zhengyi, and in the evening, Luca Brissell against Julian Leclerc. Hope you can join me. For now, though, tonight, it's goodbye.